Welcome to Creepy and Geeky. I'm your host, Robert, and on this special episode, I'm talking to Samantha Hale, whose new comedy special, Samantha Hale Horror Nerd, is now available to rent or buy on VOD everywhere. Welcome to the show, Samantha.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you on.
You have a
I just,
great voice when you were like
oh,
creepy and geeky. I was like, ooh, come on, Vincent Price.
well, thank you. I very much appreciate that. Normally, I don't like my voice, especially hearing it back on recordings, but I have
I
been
don't
told
think
that I've been told by friends that my voice is quite nice. So
it's
I
great.
enjoy that. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
I
Thank
don't
you.
think any of us like to. I hate looking at myself, seeing myself. So like having to watch like footage that we were editing, I was
Right.
like, oh God, what Samantha, you're so weird. Why did you do that?
It's in the beginning, I used to edit all out all my pauses and all my ums and all the you knows and
Yeah.
everything that you used to do. And then I quit doing that because I would pick up on it when I would listen to other people's podcasts, and I was like, oh, you know what? Nobody else is going through all that effort. I'm not going to go through it either.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think in podcast world, it's a little bit more okay to be like, we're in the moment, we're having conversation.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, when I watch like bits of mine on stage, I'm like, why do you say like so many times? I am from the Valley. I am from, oh my God, like the Valley. That's where
Yeah.
I'm from. But yeah, you think about it and you're like, why can't I just use words better? I'm a comic. I use words for a living. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing this. I'm just celebrated my fourth anniversary of the podcast. So yeah, thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you. So I've been
Oh,
doing this for a little bit, and it's nice. I feel like I'm semi-professional at doing it. Uh
I
but
have
yeah.
permanent imposter syndrome. I think
Oh
all
yeah.
artists do. We're like, am I for real? Am I doing this right? Like, but it's art.
Oh yeah.
It's conversation, it's connection. There's no
Yeah.
right way to do it.
Well, and I think that's genuinely um a an attitude most people have when they do something in the arts. I
Yeah.
think everybody like because I love art. Like I have a bunch of comic books back here and everything too.
Nice.
So I feel like most people who do artwork of some sort, be it comedy, acting, everything. I think we all kind of go through that. We're always like doubting ourselves and trying to figure out
Yeah.
if we're doing any good or not, especially if you compare
Yeah.
yourself to others in the same field and you're just like,
Oh,
why am I not there yet? These people
yeah.
are I'm just as good as these people. Why am I not doing
Yeah.
as good? But
Yeah, you know who the ultimate killer, the ultimate slasher of all movies ever is comparison. That's like the
yeah,
way to take yourself
absolutely.
out. You might as well just like trip in the woods if you're going to do the comparison thing because but that's kind of
Oh,
how
absolutely.
artistic brains operate, you know. And I know that I'm really going to love a comic when, they get off stage and I'm like, "Hey, how was your set?" You know, yeah, I did all right, but there's this one joke that I can't get to work. That's an artist right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Constantly trying to get that one thing to work. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Well, let's talk about your new special, Horror Nerd, which is a lot of fun. I got to watch it last night.
Oh, thanks.
Um, and it speaks to the horror geek and horror nerds and all of
Yeah.
us that love that kind of thing. I'm kind of a late bloomer to horror. I've enjoyed horror my whole life. I grew up in the 80s, so I
Same. Yeah.
I grew up with Freddie and Jason, and I watched all of those and everything like that. I enjoyed bits and pieces along the way. I saw Scream when it first came out and
Same.
everything. And so but for me, like the biggest appreciation, like I really kind of deep dived and got obsessed with horror about like 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh,
And
late
so
bloomer.
yeah. So, and again, I've always enjoyed it. But my passion before that was like comic books and Star Wars stuff, which I thought was funny. You go into and the thing about how Star Wars geeks are like the worst kind of geeks and stuff, just super obsessed. Now, to be fair, I'm kind of middle of the road on all that stuff. I've always been the geek who is just kind of like I don't go too crazy with stuff. So
Yeah, but
But
there's nothing wrong with going too
no, there's not.
crazy. If it brings
No.
you joy and it brings you happiness, listening, being an adult sucks, right? It's hard. Living
Right.
in on this planet can be hard. So if you find little things that bring you joy or give you a moment of getting outside of your own head, then that's kind of the point.
Yeah,
But I think it's actually
absolutely.
kind of cool and refreshing that you're a later in life horror fan because for
Right.
myself and for most of like my friends and my horror community family, we all got into this stuff when we were way too young, when it was terribly
Mhm.
inappropriate, and it changed everything for us. Um, for me, I talk about it in the special because the special is really a lot about my relationship to horror, why I
Right.
love it, why it's so nostalgic to me, how it connects me to my parents. Early memories of seeing this stuff with my dad, and my dad has passed, and so I feel like when I put on an old movie, every time I watch the movie It, because that was the first movie to like ruin my life, in a great way. It makes me
Right.
think of my dad. I get to talk about my dad. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein was a huge one for me as a kid.
Yeah.
And that was like my big movie night with my dad every weekend. We would go to the video store, rent it on VHS. Yes, VHS. I still collect that. I don't care. Um, we rented on VHS. He would take me to 7-Eleven. We would get grandma's chocolate cookies, and we would watch Abbott and Costello. And
Yeah.
so that's obviously a horror comedy, but you have the OG Universal monsters in that. And so that, even though it has monsters in it, gives me the warm fuzzies. And
Right.
that's kind of what the special is about, is how horror has become a safe space for all of us, maybe not so popular kids, maybe those of us who grew up not being cool and we would just watch this stuff and hope no one would make fun of us for it. And now it's popular. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I agree. I think the horror community and the horror community itself is very good for the most part. Like, you get any community always has bad actors in it.
Always.
But but I would say that by and large, horror has one of the best communities of fans that I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
They are very supportive.
Yeah.
Um, they are very friendly, and they're very progressive as well,
Yeah.
typically. And so that's the kind of stuff that I like to be involved with.
Same.
And that's been real good. Like I've gone to conventions and just everybody there is having a great time, is super friendly to each other. You never see like the guests, like the stars and everything like that have always been super friendly. You never have these you occasionally have one or two egos and stuff like that.
Sure.
But, usually those are the people who you kind of already know are going to be like
Yeah,
that.
right.
But the people like Kane Hodder
I
and
was
Robert
literally just
Englund,
gonna say
no,
Kane is my favorite
yeah.
freaking person. I'm obsessed with Kane Hodder. Like, and I talk about him in the special
I
because
saw,
I
yeah,
have gotten to spend some time with Kane, and he's just so funny. He's so
he is.
flippin' funny. So I tell this story about being at Monsterpalooza and how like I really wanted to meet Doug Bradley, who plays Pinhead,
Yeah,
of course, and he's kind of intimidating because he's just
he
so
is.
cool and he's British, which makes him more intimidating, right? So long story short, he basically like challenged me to write jokes about Pinhead that he had never heard before. And I was like, ah. So I ran off and I'm trying to write these jokes. I literally went to Kane's booth and ran all the jokes by Kane first. He's like, oh, that's great. He's gotta love it. Like I needed them to be Kane approved. And
That's so funny.
yeah, I just actually saw Kane a couple months ago at Son of Monsterpalooza, and I got to tell him, "Hey, man, you're in my special, and you have no idea what that means to me." And I could tell that it meant something to him. And then we hugged and we took pictures, and he signed like I have like postcards for like the cover of the special. And I was like, you know
Yeah,
what, Kane, will you just sign this because like it's you're in it. He's like, oh,
yeah,
really? Like it was. Oh my God, I
yeah.
died. He's
No, he's what
wonderful.
I never talked to him directly, but I had seen him at a couple of shows and stuff like that. That's like a couple of them. Like I've talked to Doug Bradley directly, but I was doing something business wise for my boss at the time.
Got it.
And so it really wasn't like it was a great friendly interaction and stuff like that, but it was like all business. And
Yeah.
so it was a weird thing, but like I don't know, it's just the most amazing people. Like I saw Tony Todd at one or two of them
Oh
before he
yeah,
passed.
yeah.
Felissa Rose is always at them.
Everybody loves Felissa. I haven't
Yeah,
gotten to meet
she's
her
so
yet,
great.
but
Yeah.
everyone's like, she's the best. I really
She
want to
is.
meet her.
Yeah. I've gotten to meet so many great people and gotten to like experience that. So that's really that part of your act was really fun to see
Okay.
it, especially with the cane bit and stuff. So but yeah, no, it's this comedy special is just a lot of fun. I love that you mix in the stories of your life with all these jokes about horror and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
I think it's so relatable to any of us who did grow up with horror around us and watching those things because like I said, I watched a lot of that as a kid as well. I watched all the Freddy and Jason and all the weird goofy shit.
Yeah.
And we just I don't know, especially 80s kids. We
We're
just
a special breed, aren't
we
we?
are a special breed. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just and it's so hard to explain to people too, because people just do not understand what it was like to grow up in the 80s.
So
Um,
different. Yeah.
and you know, but it was so and I love how much it informs everything now in a way. Like not that it's so nostalgic that it but it's so there's so much that it influences and it's just a lot of
Definitely.
fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So you grew up in the Valley. I know that your grandfather and your great grandparents were very famous. Did your parents work in the entertainment industry at all?
No, my dad, and really quickly before I forget though, I think you might get a
Yeah.
kick out of, and thank you for mentioning like the personal note on
Yeah.
the special. We worked really hard on that. We wanted to make it vulnerable and authentic in a journey, and we took a huge amount of inspiration from Carrie Fisher's Wishful Drinking. I don't know if you've
Okay.
seen that, but Carrie Fisher is obviously an
I love
icon, but
Carrie Fisher. Yeah.
what a strong, funny, vulnerable, authentic person, you know? And so
Yeah,
watching her
absolutely.
special, yeah, it was like there were beats, there were moments of here's some true stories, here's some really sad stuff that happened, here's how I made fun of it, here's how I found the joy in things. And so that was really I have to give a shout out to Carrie Fisher for sure. But with my grandfather, so my grandfather is the skipper on Gilligan's Island, which is pretty
Right.
cool.
Yeah. I
And
love that.
my very first comedy show that I ever did, Dawn Wells, who played Marianne, came and sat right in the front row.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Dawn, have you seen The Town That Dreaded Sundown?
I haven't.
One of like the OG slashers for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And
I know of it, but I haven't seen it yet. It's one of
oh,
those
it's
always on my
so
list
good.
thing.
It's so,
Yeah.
and it's also like if you watch the first Friday the 13th, like kind of like the straw mask over the head, that
Yeah.
was The Town That Dreaded Sundown. That was totally that
Yeah.
slasher. But Dawn is in that movie and she gets shot, I think. And like it's so hard for me to watch that scene. I'm like, no, not Dawn. That's like she like adopted me in real life and I love her.
That's so
Um,
awesome.
yeah, but so my grandfather was an actor. His father was so my great grandfather was Alan Hale Sr., who was Errol Flynn's sidekick in all the swashbuckling
Yeah.
movies. And my dad kind of like dabbled in it a little bit, and I don't know that he loved it enough to be in his dad's shadow. That must have been pretty
Yeah.
hard. I mean,
Yeah.
he literally looked like him and had
Oh,
Brian
wow.
Allen
Okay.
Hale. Yeah, so that I can't imagine the pressure.
Yeah.
I felt it as a young girl, like thinking,
Yeah.
I have to be an actor. I have to carry on the family name or I'm useless. Like I put this pressure on myself for some reason.
Yeah.
And then, finding the stand-up thing, I'm like, okay, well, no one in my family that I know of has done that yet. So I'm not in anyone's shadow there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love talking about them on stage.
Yeah, no, that's great. Like, and I can see, yeah, that living in the shadow of somebody like that, it's very, very hard. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we have the whole Nepo baby conversation these days, which is,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's disingenuous at best. I think most, you know, quote unquote Nepo babies, you know, the ones who are good, they rise, you know, like Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
And the ones who are not so good,
They fade out.
they'll fade out to
Yeah.
obscurity.
Well,
Um,
people used to assume that I had the Nepo baby privilege. And I'm like, to be blunt, everyone that could have helped me has either retired or passed away. And
yeah, yeah,
it was a different era, really.
yeah,
And when I was doing the acting thing, like really going out all the time, that was like my number one goal in life. Casting directors would be like, "Oh, really cool. Okay." And then they would like
yeah,
they wouldn't get me
yeah.
the role. If I wasn't right for the role, I wasn't right for the role.
Right.
Um, mm,
And
so
that's why I feel that that conversation is always disingenuous because the talent still has to shine through. Sure, you might get the door open, but
yeah.
that doesn't get you the job.
Right,
So,
right. You still have to do
um,
the work if you get the job, and if you suck,
exactly.
oh,
People will find out real quick.
yeah. But they do, I mean, that having that door opened
Sure,
is a
helps a
huge
lot.
advantage. So
Yeah.
we will say
Yeah.
that. That is a huge
Yeah, no,
advantage.
absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, I found that aspect of your because I immediately went to, Wikipedia and stuff to look you up. I was like, wait, who, what? And so I was like, all right, this is interesting. So and then um what was I gonna say? And then the relationship you had with your parents and stuff like that, and how they both influenced you, with horror and just in general. I love that. We're all influenced by our parents, and so it seems
Yeah.
like for them, they were a very big, um, like positive influence for you in general, which is always nice to hear, especially living out in the Hollywood side of things. So
Yeah.
and despite them being divorced and everything like that, seems like they were both still very present in your life up
Yeah.
until each of their passings. So
Definitely. And they had their ups and downs and their strengths and
yeah,
things that they weren't
absolutely.
so good. They were humans and it's funny, you don't really realize that until you're an adult. You're like, "Oh,
Right.
life is hard. They were doing the best they could."
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because there were times when I'm like, "Dad, what the heck were you thinking? Why would you?" Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. As a parent myself, as a
Oh,
grandparent myself
Oh,
now,
no way.
yes, yeah, I have a 4-year-old grandson.
Oh my
So yeah,
goodness. What's boy or girl?
boy, yeah,
Boy,
yeah,
what's his name?
yeah.
Is it
His name is
Damien?
Indigo. I
Oh,
wish
that's
it
a
was
cool name.
wish it was something cool, but no, Indigo is awesome. I love that
That's a
name.
cool
It's really
name.
yeah, no,
Yeah, I like it.
he's great. We just like I said, we just moved in. We just kind of split apart the family a little bit. We all used to live together, so now we're kind of separated because my son got a job a couple hours away, so he had to take my grandson away from me. But that's all right. 2 hours
Dare he?
is easy to, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's
How
not bad
dare you?
actually.
No, 2 hours is easy to do. So, but yeah, no, it's yeah, family is hard.
Yeah.
You have your ups and downs, and yeah, definitely once you are older and adult, and get married, have kids of your own, and stuff like that. So some of those things you used to go, oh man, what were my parents thinking? You go, oh yeah, that
Oh,
makes a lot more sense. And I
yeah.
love that. I love that you have those moments in your special, and I love how much they influenced you and all those. I loved hearing the stories. Like, is even as much as the comedy is funny in this, it was kind of like this more the more interesting bits for me were the more personal side of things.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
that was very interesting, a lot of fun
Yeah.
do that, especially for somebody that I wasn't familiar with. So
Makes sense. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's like what like I also like it like a newer comic, what I would say to them is like, hey, you have to show us who you are before we fall in love with you. If you're doing
absolutely.
all observational comedy, well, we don't know who you are, so why do we care about your opinion, right? But if you show us
Absolutely, yeah.
who you are, why you are the way you are, how your life has been shaped, why you feel the way you feel, now we're more on board. Oh, okay. Then
Absolutely,
it then it
yeah.
gets interesting. Like if you know who I am and what my background is, my take on Michael Myers gets more interesting all of a sudden, whoever it
Yeah,
may be, right? As
absolutely.
opposed to, yeah. So because a lot of people are like, wait, so you're a horror comic? What does that mean? I'm like, well, good question, because I don't know if anyone else is crazy enough to do what I'm doing, which is trying to be a specifically all horror comic. I mean, I have
Right.
other material and I do regular shows. where I try to slip in my horror material and see if they'll bite or not. You
Right.
can do like kind of like the main franchises. I can do a Freddy joke or a Jason joke. They'll
Right.
know. But you never know though, because one day I was doing just like a regular show, and this girl was wearing this super cool Friday the 13th hoodie. Like it looked expensive. And in my
Yeah.
mind, I was like, cool, I could do my Kane Hodder stuff. And I said, oh, are you a big Jason Voorhees fan? She said, no. And shut me down so hard. I'm like, well, why are you wearing that? Can I have it? If you
Yeah,
don't like
right.
that sweater, I'll take it. But anyway, you never know. But so people are like, oh, is the special just like you roasting the killers for an hour? I'm like, no, that would get kind of boring
That would
after
get
a little
boring. Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I tried to blend,
No.
put a personal touch on it. Yeah.
No, and I think most people respond more to observational horror and that kind of stuff because it's relatable. And I think that's what's great about it, about your specials. We've all had, we all have family, we all have our passions and stuff like that. And even if we don't understand every bit of what you're saying in horror, I think that everybody can relate, and then it might make them go watch something that they didn't know about. So,
Yeah, and that's
which
the
is a lot of
fun
fun.
part. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's also like part of our job as a comic is like we can't assume that the audience knows everything we're talking about.
Mhm.
So if it's kind of a deeper cut or it's something a little bit
Right.
not quite on the mainstream, you have to let them know what it is because you don't want them to think, "Wait, have I seen that movie? What's that movie about again?" No, just tell them. Just
Yeah.
don't if they're thinking, they're not going to laugh because they're thinking. They're trying to
Right.
figure it out. But if you can just say, "Hey, I really love this movie. It's about this," and then do your punchline, easy,
Yeah,
right? Well, it's
absolutely.
not as easy as you think, but sometimes it
It's
seems
work.
like a,
Yeah.
yeah, it seems like a simple formula, but sometimes it just takes a minute because stuff that makes sense in our own head, we forget the audience might not get. And sometimes, like when
Right.
I write a joke, I'm like, oh man, this is killer. It's gonna crush crickets.
And it
And then I
completely
write a
bombs.
joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I write a joke. I'm like, this is so stupid. And I don't even like this joke, but I'll do it. And then it destroys the room. And you're like, really?
And now
That one?
and now you're stuck doing the bad joke that you don't like.
Yes. And now you're stuck doing the joke you don't like. Oh, yeah. We all have that happen. It happens to the best of us.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, and that's one of the things. I've loved comedians over the years. I'm a big George Carlin fan.
Oh, yeah. Who isn't?
So yeah, right. George Carlin, Robin Williams, the greats, the really good
Yeah.
greats up there.
Yeah.
Um, I was just talking about that with my daughter the other day. Because my wife I love Robin Williams, but my wife really loves Robin Williams, and I really love George Carlin. And my daughter was just like, because she'd mentioned that she really liked both of them, and I was like, well, you get that from both of us, then, because
Ah, nice.
we put that around you. Um, and so, and I'm a big, like I said, I'm a big horror comedy is my specific brand of horror that I really love. Stuff like Shaun of the Dead.
I love
Um,
Shaun of the Dead. It's my
Shaun of the
favorite
Dead
horror
is great.
comedy. It's so
Yeah,
funny every time you watch
it
it.
is.
Yeah, I have a bit
Yeah.
about it about how like the only actual scary part is that the guy from Coldplay has a cameo.
Right.
Like he does though. He's one of the zombies. Chris Martin is walking
Yeah.
around.
It's so weird. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I love Edgar Wright's movies as well. So it's just like, but yeah, Shaun of the Dead, the Happy Death Day movies, they're so silly.
Those are good. I actually really like
Yeah, I
those.
love those. Tucker and Dale versus Evil,
Yeah.
just like just really fun stuff like that. That mixes that. And we've had a couple of really good ones this year, some really dark horror comedies like Companion and The Monkey. Those
Oh
have been
yeah. The
great.
monkey was a trip. There was
I
so much
love that one.
happening in that movie. I was
Yeah.
like, what is happening? But Companion was brilliant.
Yeah.
Together was actually
I
made me
didn't get
laugh
to
out
see that
loud.
one yet.
It was actually
Yeah.
pretty good. I laughed a lot because it
Okay.
was just commentary on like codependency, right? And
Yeah.
it was pretty funny. I saw it with my boyfriend. We were like, ah, this is actually, and I thought that it was, I didn't want to see it in the theater because I don't love body horror. Like it's a little hard for
Yeah.
me. It's
Yeah.
not my genre. I will watch it to say I did it, but it's not, I don't enjoy it. Um,
Yes.
but it wasn't bad. It didn't gross me out too much. It was
Okay,
just
good. Good to know.
perfect
Yeah.
amount.
I don't
Yeah,
mind gore, but yeah, some body horror just gets a little too much, and you're just
too
like, oh
much.
no,
Like
that's too.
Tusk, I saw once. I'll never do it again. I saw it. I'm good. The
Yeah.
Substance, I thought was absolutely brilliant,
Oh, I
and I
love
loved
the
it. And I
substance.
thought Demi Moore should have won everything for that.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh my God, like 100%. Why did we not just give her the keys to
Yes.
Hollywood? She was brilliant in that movie. And the ending was rough for me on the big screen. I was like, oh God, please stop.
The
Please
in
stop. Oh God,
Okay,
please stop.
the ending of that one was just weird. Like
Over the top.
I was so on board, and I understand it. Nobody has to come at me. I understand why it was over the top and weird like
Yeah.
that. It's fine. I
Yeah.
get it. But it just took me out a little bit because the rest of the movie was so absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And then that last, what, 20 minutes or so was just like, wait, what? Why did we go here?
Yeah, it was
So,
a little over the top.
and it's really
I
gross.
agree.
Yeah.
Totally get it. Understand what they were
Yeah.
doing, what they were going for. Totally get it. It's just because I personally don't do well with body horrors, so that's why I was like, I
Right.
have to look away. Oh my God, why? But then I walked out of that theater like, holy hell, that
Oh,
movie was incredible.
that was my number one horror movie that year because it was
Yeah,
just it rocked me to my even with that ending, it still was just like, oh my God, the performance, Demi Moore's like perfect
yeah.
lifetime performance for her.
Yeah, they all knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
The only
yeah.
sad thing, even though I thought Dennis Quaid was phenomenal, like it was written for Ray Liotta and he passed
Oh yeah.
away before they could shoot it. And Ray Liotta would have just
I
destroyed
think it
that
would have killed
role.
that.
I would
Yeah,
have loved
yeah,
to have,
for
but I
sure.
think Dennis Quaid was fantastic. So that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
next, an amazing choice as well. But oh my God, can
yeah.
you imagine Ray Liotta? My favorite Ray Liotta scene is when he's literally eating his own brain in Hannibal. Like that movie
Oh
was
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
good. That scene was so messed up. I was like, are you kidding me right now? We're doing this. Okay.
All right. So what is like what are some of your favorite horror movies? Things that have like influenced you and are who like at your very core who you are now.
Yeah. Oh, ooh, very core who I am now. I don't know if the movies I'm going to say reflects very good upon my core and who I am,
Oh no.
but
Some of I look, I love some of the worst horror movies there are.
yeah.
You mentioned Blade 3. That's my favorite of the whole
I
trilogy.
love Blade 3 and I will fight anyone who doesn't like it. There's a
Thank you.
vampire Pomeranian. What more do you want? Like, you have Parker
Posey
Posey.
Parker is tearing up that movie.
She's so good in that
She's
movie. And
so
then
good. But
Ryan Reynolds. What more do you
oh,
want? Like? Oh, it's
yeah.
so good. No, I love that movie. And I actually I would say the second and the third are my favorites.
Yeah.
They're different vibes, but
Yeah,
Blade
definitely.
2, the scene, the like the vampire underground club with the blood coming down, that was freaking
Oh,
epic.
yeah.
And I used to have that song that was playing in that scene. I used to play it all the time. I thought it was so
Yeah.
cool. Um, but I my top three films probably of all time would be Halloween, the original Halloween,
Right.
The Shining, and Beetlejuice. Those are my top
Oh,
three.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I know Beetlejuice, they're like, "Mm, it's a comedy." It's a horror
It's a
comedy. He's
horror
a
comedy. Yeah.
demon. He's a
Uh,
demon. Come on.
yeah.
Those are my top three. Yeah.
You won't like my well, I'm not bad about it. I don't love The Shining. I don't love Jack Nicholson. But
Fair.
again, everybody has their tastes.
Yeah.
And I'm always of that opinion. Like I hate when people are just so like, oh, you don't like The Shining, you're not a true horror fan.
Oh no,
I just
I don't I'm not gonna
yeah,
be an
yeah.
elitist about it.
No,
I
no,
don't like
no. Exactly.
elitist.
Right.
I opened I did an opening set for a screening of Halloween at this beautiful place. It's beautiful like old silent movie theater in LA
Yeah.
called Old Town Music Hall. It's stunning. There's a huge organ. It's a wonderful
Oh, that's
place.
awesome.
And I took it very seriously because I was honored to like be on that stage. So I dressed up really nice and I prepared my set. I wrote all this new Michael Myers stuff that was really good. And I was so excited. And I think the fans, like the people who love Halloween that were there, they were like the freaking hipster Silver Lake audience of Halloween
Uh,
because they were so like they didn't believe I was one of them. Like I think I dressed up too nice, and I'm covered in tattoos and stuff. I have a
yeah.
Michael Myers tattoo on my arm,
That's
and
awesome.
but I was covered up, and so they thought that I was like this wannabe comic who, and so I was like, all right, well, let me talk to them. Let me try to win them over by actually doing crowd work. So I was like, hey guys, what are some of your favorite movies? And they were purposely giving me all these extremely deep cuts, like trying to stump me. They were like,
Uh,
Chopping Mall, Cannibal Holocaust, Maniac. I'm like, I know these movies, bro.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why are you being so mean? It was rough. It was rough. But because they were like super elitist about it. I'm like, you guys, I am literally seeing John Carpenter on Dia de los Muertos. Like, I am one of you. Leave me
That's
alone.
awesome.
Yeah, it was rough. I had to work hard for that crowd.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully you won them over in the end.
I got him here and there, but I think they were like, get off the stage, woman. We just
Just
want to see the actual Michael Myers.
right.
And I'm like, do you know that Mickey Ublons, whose dad is Erwin Ublons, who's the boy in the opening scene, who's like, the boogeyman's gonna get you and knocks the pumpkin out of Tommy Doyle's hand. I'm like, that's one of my good friends, and he's also my banker. I'm for real, I swear. He is. He's Mickey Ublons is one of the funniest, lovely people ever. I love
That's
him.
awesome.
Yeah. And I met him at a Wells Fargo one day. We start talking, and he's like, "What's your favorite scary movie?" I'm like, "Don't ask me dumb questions. It's Halloween, obviously." And he said, "You know, I was in that." I'm like, "I'm sorry. What the heck?" Like, and we've been friends ever since.
That's so funny. That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's Hollywood for you.
it's
You run
Hollywood.
across anybody for yeah, anywhere at any
Yep.
time. That's
Yep.
so funny. I'm originally from California myself.
What
Um,
part?
I was born in San Diego, lived up
Oh,
in
nice.
the San Jose Mountain View area for a little bit as a kid.
Oh, nice. I have a comic friend of mine who does Horror Nerd a lot, the live show, which we are also celebrating 4 years at the Hollywood Improv.
Awesome.
So
Congratulations.
congrats on 4 years too.
Yeah.
But she's from San Diego and she has a bit how she's like, not a lot of us made it out, not without getting a Sublime tattoo. And I'm like, oh, that's accurate. That's see, you're dying. I'll tell her you laughed. That's really funny.
That is
Yeah,
really
her
funny.
name's Amber
I like
Easton. She's
Sublime.
really funny. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's really funny the way she does it.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
what are your movies? I have to ask you now.
oh Lord. Evil Dead franchise,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
specifically Army of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like a good horror comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Scream franchise,
Yep.
and specifically Scream 3. I'm a
Oh,
I'm
you
a
like the not as
I'm a
popular one.
I'm a Scream 3 apologist. No, I again Parker Posey.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm a Halloween 3 apologist, even though I have nothing
oh
to apologize for.
no, Halloween 3 is great. It's
Yeah.
I love that they tried to do something different. And I'm sorry,
Different.
but Tom
No.
Atkinson is awesome in that.
Yeah,
So
he's amazing. And you know how
yeah,
I first figured out who Tom was because I used to love Xena Warrior Princess, and that's the first time I actually saw Bruce Campbell was he played the
yes,
King of Thieves, Autolycus in Xena, and I was like, I like this guy. I don't know because I was like 12, I hadn't seen Evil Dead yet, and I
yeah.
was like, this guy's funny. I like him. And then when I put it together that he was Ash, I'm like, oh, mind blown.
Well, that's I mean, I think that's part of what makes Army of Darkness one of my favorites is because it was the first Evil Dead I saw. I saw it in the theater in
Oh,
what 93 when it
nice,
came out. So um
nice.
yeah, so that was the first one of those. And then I was like, oh wait, there's a franchise. Let me go back and rewatch these. I was like, wow, these are wildly different than Army
Yeah.
of Darkness is.
And here's
But I
another LA
love them all.
story you'll get a kick out of.
Yeah.
So I used to do these casting director workshops where you would like go in and kind of you would like it was like practicing scene study. Basically, you go in and you audition. And I used to do them with Pat Tallman, Patricia Tallman.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
And at the time I didn't put it together. And then later I was like, wait a minute, you're that Patricia? What the heck? Like and she was lovely. She was so nice.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Um, you never know who you're going to run into. No, I love Bruce Campbell. He's great. Got to meet him a couple of times. I do have a picture with him.
Nice.
One of my favorite people, of course, is Elvira. I'm a
Oh gosh.
huge Elvira fan.
Yeah.
Wearing a t-shirt over here right
Yeah,
now. One of
nice.
many. Um,
Yeah, I grew
but
up with Elvira as well.
I love Elvira.
I think
Um,
anyone who had a father who was into horror like got to see Elvira because she's, obviously stunning, but also
yes.
just funny and real. I
Oh yeah.
rewatched it the other day and I'm like, all of the jokes still land. They're all still
Oh,
fire. They're all still
absolutely.
good.
Yeah.
And Cassandra was nice enough to actually watch the special and give us a blurb, which
That's
like,
awesome.
tears of, oh my God.
Yeah.
So I have to give a shout out to Peaches Christ who made that happen. Peaches
That's
is
so
a
cool.
phenomenal drag queen who's been doing horror for many, many years, runs the Terror Vault up in San Francisco.
That's awesome.
Peaches is an icon, honestly. So
Yeah.
I'm really grateful to have to call Peaches a friend. And I've done the podcast with Peaches and Michael Varrati, who's a phenomenal director. He did a film called There's a Zombie Outside, and he gave me a little bit part, which I was like, oh my God, I'm so
Oh,
honored to be involved. And it is a freaking good movie, you guys. Go see There's a Zombie Outside. It is legit so
I will
good.
look it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very cool. All right. Yeah, no, I love Elvira. I got to meet her once. I finally got to meet her. I was like, it was one of the last cons I did. I think it was before the pandemic.
Oh, nice.
And so I luckily got to meet her and got to have a limited poster signed by her. So I was very
Nice.
excited. Of course, I was completely, I don't normally get starstruck, but I knew with her I probably would be because like I had
Yeah.
a poster of her on my wall when I was a teenager in the
Yeah.
80s.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
All of us did. We
special.
all had that cool stuff. And we all have that one person who, if we met them, we would just, I'm trying to
Yeah.
think. I mean, if I met Meryl Streep, I don't know what I would say, or Kate Blanchett, I don't know what I would say. Um, yeah, I don't know. Those might be the two that I would be like,
Yeah.
oh. I sat next to like across from Kate Blanchett at like a film festival once,
Oh
and
man.
she's just like this glowing, beautiful angel. And she was super pregnant at the time. And I was like, now she's like double glowing angel perfect. She's someone who, like, if I found out she was a douche, I would be heartbroken. But I just don't think she
Right?
is. I
I
just
don't
don't
think
think
she
she
is.
would be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's one of those people who seems really intimidating, but
But
like
would probably
also,
be super
but would
cool.
probably be super friendly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like and then I was gonna say completely off topic of horror and everything like that. But did you see the trailer for Devil Wears Prada 2?
No, I heard that they are shooting it,
Yeah,
and I'm so excited. I will be the first
yeah.
one in line to see it. I mean, Miranda Priestley is an icon, and
Yes,
everything
absolutely.
Meryl does is iconic.
Yeah.
Um,
Ready to see Stanley Tucci in that again, bringing back that character.
in
Yeah.
anything
Oh,
he's
and
in.
everything. Yeah.
I
He's
know, he's
absolutely fun.
so good.
No, but yeah, no, it just, I that's the couch you have on your set in Horror Nerd, very reminiscent of Elvira's couch.
Oh
So
yeah, we
I'm
did that
assuming
as
that
an
was intentional.
homage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my very dear friend Tom Dolby, who directed it, another Hollywood cool thing. His dad is Raymond Dolby, who literally created Dolby. So the
Oh,
special
okay.
sounds amazing. The sound is
Yes.
perfect. So Tom really knocked it out of the park. So we actually shot it at the Hollywood Improv, but he turned this cool room, it's called the Lab, where I run the show monthly. He turned it into this beautiful cabaret, like beautiful candles on each table and the velvet curtain and the pillars and the columns. He really just knocked it out of the park. But we specifically wanted to create kind of an homage to the first that like kind of like my opening chunk in the very beginning where I talk about all of these people, all of these especially women who inspired me.
Yes.
The big kind of like I don't want to say grand finale, but like the peak of that monologue, if you will, is Cassandra. If you don't know Elvira, you do not exist to me. Like Elvira
Yeah.
changed everything. She created this
Did.
path that I'm following in my own weird kind of different way. And I actually got to ask her, what do you think the future of a horror host would be? And she's like, that's a great question. It's kind of hard to answer because media has changed so much. The
Yeah.
platforms have changed. The art form has changed. So I'm kind of in this, I'm just going to make it up as I go along, and hope that
Is
people
that
get it.
something is that something you aspire to eventually do, is be a horror hostess of some sort?
Yeah, it's like, yes,
Okay.
yes. Because I'm finding that I enjoy so much. I'm grateful for every gig that I get, but I don't think I'm the normal comic. And what does
Right.
normal mean? But I don't think I'm following the typical path of, okay, I want to be on all the late night shows. I want to write on TV. I love horror so much that I want to stay in that field. So.
Yeah.
I've done a couple gigs lately that I'm like, oh, I would like to do more of that. Where like the LA Conservancy brought me on, and they kind of celebrate LA's history. The old buildings, the everything that we grew up with, old Hollywood. Um,
Right.
they did a screening called Last Rites. It was their first time doing a double screening of horror films, And we did it at the end of October. We did Young Frankenstein at 2 p.m. and Carrie at 8 p.m. And I introduced
Wow,
both films. And I was like the host of that evening. And that wound up being kind of a dream come true
that's
because it
awesome.
was also in this historic theater called the Million Dollar Theater that like Sid Grauman designed, who also did The
Wow.
Egyptian. So it's
Yeah.
stunning, and I'm sure it's got to be super haunted. And I got to hang out in this theater all day, and I dressed up, and I had my rhinestone jacket and everything like that. This is what I want to do. This is
Yeah.
where I want to be. So, but that was kind of a we've never done this before. Do you want to do this with us? So we kind of made a new thing. So that's kind of how my career is going, is I'm just making new media, I'm in new art forms, new, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm a comic who loves horror and I'm running with
Yeah.
it.
No, and that's good. I think, that's it's something a little bit more unique and niche,
Niche
for
is the word.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you've got people like David Dasmalchian out there doing
Who's
kind of a
fabulous.
similar.
And
I
so
love him. Yeah.
he's such a character.
Oh
I
yeah.
saw him. So, do you watch Stand Against Evil? Have you seen that series?
I haven't, but I've heard good things
Check
about
it
it.
out. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
IFC. So, my friend Dana Gould created that show, and a bunch of my horror nerd comic, Valerie Tossi and Candice Martello, they all worked on it. So, Dana is a legit horror fan. And the thing that I
Nice.
love is when I can have Dana on the show, he's like, I get to do material here that I can't do for like normal people. He did like this 15-minute story on Dracula, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. It was so niche and so deep cut, but
I
the
love
way that he
that.
presented it was brilliant. But so I saw so Dana every year at Largo here in LA, which is an amazing theater. He does Plan 9, and
Mm,
it's like a live kind of like a, like a old school radio, reading of it.
right.
And he had David play the general, and it was the funniest, most like sexual version of Plan 9. We were all like, how are we all turned on right now? David just went so over the top with the sexuality, and but it was so like, it was like all undertones and subdued, which made it even like
Yes.
hotter. And we were
Yeah.
all like, what did we just watch? This is phenomenal. And he was so nice. And it was just, I've heard
Oh,
nothing
he
but
seems
great
like the
stories.
friendliest guy. Yeah.
Super cool, just hanging
Yeah.
out. Like, hey, what's up? Just seems very like present and genuine and just,
Yeah.
and I say this as a compliment, just like such a quirky, his own odd duck person. And I think that
Yes.
is what makes him so brilliant. I would say Late Night with the Devil is one of the absolute better newer films. Like,
Yeah.
it's so good and it's so
Yeah.
stylized. It's great.
Yeah. I enjoyed that a lot and very much fit his personality of at least the personality of him that I've been observed over the
Yeah.
last few years. So,
Yeah, and he's done some
yeah.
great work. Like the other day, and we didn't realize he was in it at first. I think it was called like The Last Voyage of the Demeter, and it was like
Yeah.
a Nosferatu. He was great in that. Didn't even
Yeah.
realize it was him, and I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
wow, he's really a chameleon." I had no idea that was him at first, and now that I see it, I'm like, "God damn, that was good."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a decent one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I covered that on somebody else's podcast, so I got to
nice,
watch that for that. So,
nice.
yeah. Um, so, yeah, when watching this and when reading up on you as on the side of that, you do this show, and you did this version of it for this special, but
Mhm.
you're constantly updating it and constantly changing things for each new time you do it. So
Yeah.
which I think is brilliant to do, but also as somebody who watched it, I'm kind of disappointed that I don't get to go see it because I live way over in Georgia.
Oh,
So I don't get to go see the different iterations of this. But I love that that's what you're doing with that, and that you have um, different jokes. You're keeping it fresh, not only for you but for the audience. And
yeah.
I think that's brilliant, a brilliant way to
Nice.
do that. So,
Yeah, well,
I
if
mean,
you live
feel
here,
like
you can
that's
come every
everybody.
month.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you ever come out to Georgia, I will look you up.
I
So,
actually I've been to Atlanta a few times and I had a
okay.
great time. Atlanta has a wonderful scene for
Yeah.
sure. And I know there's all kinds of film production happening in Georgia as well.
Uh,
So I would love to get back out there.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Trying to think if there's anything else that I had to ask you off
I
the
will I
top of
will
my
say
head.
this. I wish you would have been here last night because we just last night did the Children of the Corn edition. Uh, so all of our comics, like I basically I get and I always give them a month's notice. Hey, I need you guys to write a brand new set on the theme. And so it was all like creepy kids and horror films or corny
So
movies.
cool.
So I'm like, pick whichever one
Yeah.
you want. And we got some good stuff out of it for sure.
Yeah.
There were two comics who performed as like they performed as like Children of the Corn rejects. Like we were too bubbly. They didn't like us because we were too much. And then they just said horrible things that were hilarious and they just looked cute as pie. So people get really creative. Next month we're doing the Merry Massacre edition. So it's like Christmas horror, and then
Yeah.
thing where there's like a full massacre. And we're gonna, my friend Laurel Kathleen, who's brilliant, is gonna do Gladys from Weapons. She's gonna perform as Gladys.
Oh my God, that's
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
I
Oh,
loved
it's so
Weapons.
good.
That was a great
Oh
movie.
yeah. Weapons was
Yeah.
like one of those laugh out loud because it's so good and so funny and so br
Yeah.
Amy Madigan, she better win everything
Oh
too.
my
Her
gosh.
and Demi should just win everything, honestly.
Yeah. And I know you're not a huge fan of Hereditary based on your
I
set that I watched,
know.
but Toni Collette should have won for that year too. So she
Toni
was
Collette is
brilliant in it.
brilliant, honestly, in
Yeah.
everything that
And
she did.
everything. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought she should have won for Muriel's Wedding even. So
Oh, I know. No, she's brilliant.
that's a deep cut for anybody. Not
I
horror.
Muriel's Wedding. And what is the one, Carly and Connie? Did you see that one where like
I
they go
didn't.
under it's her and I think it's Nia Vardalos as well. And they
Okay.
go undercover as drag queens and it's so good.
Oh, interesting.
It's so
That's
funny.
funny.
They're both so good in that movie. Yeah, Toni Collette is a genius. I mean,
Yes.
she's great. No
Yeah.
notes. She's
I
great. 10
did.
out of 10.
I loved your bit about Hereditary too, because I'm one of those ones who loved the movie. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a
it is very divisive because I have a friend who just hates Hereditary,
yeah.
and by extension, she kind of hates all A24 movies.
Oh, see,
So
I'm down with A24. It might just be an Ari Aster thing. Like he's just maybe
oh,
not
see,
style.
Midsummer's my absolute favorite of his and one
No,
of
I
my
liked
highest movies. Yeah,
yeah, I definitely enjoyed Midsommar more
yeah.
than Hereditary. But then again, I don't know, maybe my taste will change and I'll watch it again in a few years, be like, you know what? I see
Oh,
it now. I
yeah,
that happens sometimes. You appreciate movies in a
absolutely.
different way depending on and to be fair, the first time I did see Hereditary, my mom had passed not that
Yeah,
soon
that was
before.
fresh. Yeah,
So it
that's a
was
weird
maybe
movie to watch after that.
yeah, but then I tried rewatching it later. I'm like, still not my thing, but I might give it one more go. I might give it one more pass. Um,
And I
yeah,
always
but
say that that's a good way to do things, especially if you like, if you watch something. It's the same thing with me with The Shining. I watched it years
yeah,
ago,
yeah,
hated it. Watched
yeah.
it again recently, didn't hate it, but didn't love it yet.
Okay,
So
so
I mean, it may
progress.
change. It
Yeah,
may change over time. Same thing with The Exorcist. Never been a huge fan, but I didn't hate it as much recently when I watched it.
that's
So
fair. Well, I watched The
yeah,
Exorcist. I tell this story in the special, but I was like 10 when I saw it, but it
yeah,
didn't scare me because I was a little booger. I was like, get to the good stuff. So I
yeah,
didn't appreciate how brilliant that movie is
yeah,
until I was an adult.
yeah,
So, there's
yeah.
also I love Linda Blair and she's rescuing so many dogs and I admire the hell out of her for it. I
Yeah,
almost
I
took a
met her
dog
once
from
too.
her.
She's very friendly. Yeah.
She's great. One of her dogs I really, really wanted, and then I wound up finding a kitten, and then it turns out the dog that I wanted wasn't like super cool with cats, so I wasn't able to take her. But
Uh,
shout out to the World Heart Foundation 'cause she's crushing it. She's saving so many pit bulls and
yeah,
dogs that are like perfectly perfect dogs who just they just need a home. So if you need a
yeah,
dog and you're in Southern California, please look up Linda. She has great
yeah,
ones.
yeah, definitely. Um, and I saw that you also have a podcast yourself. Is it a
We
horror-based
do.
podcast, right? Horror
Yeah.
nerds.
It's the Horror Nerds, plural podcast, because there's a group of us and we're just like the it's like the what was it? The Nickelodeon show, Are You Afraid of the Dark? We're like the Midnight
Yeah,
Society, just some kids having fun who happen to be not in their 20s anymore, who love horror and talk about it. And we involve, like, we'll have clips from the live show in there and we interview the comics and we write
Okay.
ridiculous sketches. Bonnie, my co-host, is a phenomenal voiceover artist. And so she does like creepy kid. She did a Children of the Corn creepy voice for the intro last night. And the audience was like, oh God. Ugh. It was so good. It was so
That's
good. So
awesome.
we write sketches and like commercials, like there's a commercial for Strode Realty, which is Laurie Strode's dad, and
Right, yeah.
Jack Torrance is now a real estate agent trying to sell hotels. We do stuff like that. It's
That's funny.
silly. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad you found your niche, and I'm glad that you
You.
seem to have, this once a month horror nerd thing and your podcast and everything like that.
Yeah,
Seems like
well,
you've found your voice, which is awesome. I love that.
always working on it. But we also
Yeah.
run the show once a month. We just recently started a residency at have you seen The Mortician on HBO?
I don't think so.
Check it out. So it's
Okay.
a true crime documentary. All of this really messed up stuff happened at this mortuary in Pasadena in the 80s. Go figure.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
and these two amazing girls, Allison and Noelle, came in about a year ago and turned the actual mortuary into an escape room. And now we do
Oh,
Horror Nerd at this actual mortuary. And
that's
so you
crazy.
can, yeah, so you can check that out if you're in Pasadena area. There's a casket on stage. What more do you want? That is the Horror Nerd Ultimate Fantasy. It's a prop. Don't worry, guys. There's nothing in it. Um, but
Yep.
it's a incredible location. Check out Missing at the Mortuary for
That's
sure.
awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of true crime, you brought up one of the more fascinating aspects of LA true crime or true like haunted stuff that the Cecil Hotel,
Yeah.
especially that Elisa Lam case. That was,
Oh,
ooh,
so
that
tragic.
was
That
so,
poor girl.
yeah. That
Yeah.
was one of those ones that like it was interesting too because I had seen the video of her
Yeah.
in the
In the
elevator and the
elevator.
strange
Yeah.
things that were going on with that.
Yeah.
And then I didn't follow up on that because I think it had happened like right around that the time that I heard about it. And they didn't find her. And then I
Yeah.
followed up later on and I was like, oh, the water tower thing was like really bad.
Really bad.
Um, but yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, definitely check out the history of the Cecil Hotel because that's just
It's
one minor thing about that
Yeah,
hotel.
it is closed now, I think.
Oh,
Like
is it?
they
Interesting.
tried to reopen it and they called it Stay on Main to try to get away from the dark history of the Cecil, which if you look up this history of the Cecil, very, very dark stuff. I mean,
Very,
Ramirez
very dark.
stayed
Yeah.
there when he was on his awful killing spree. Really, really dark
Yeah.
stuff. Um, and but I think it's closed now. I was actually went because I wanted to walk past it the other day just to be like creeped out and look at it because it's up the road from that theater I told you about that I did the
Yeah.
Conservancy. And when I looked it up, it said closed, goodbye, don't even think about it. Like, and it is not in a great part of town. Honestly, you do not
Oh,
want to go
okay.
there by
Yeah.
yourself. You want to be real careful. Don't walk around. It's the worst part of downtown LA. I mean, there are some
Yeah.
amazing, very great parts of downtown. But as in any city, there's some parts when like, hey, you just don't want to maybe be there alone at night.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Well, that's disappointing. It's always sad to see, especially LA. It's one of those things where LA and Hollywood have this huge history, and it's always
Yeah.
disappointing when something does close up like that. Even if it's got this dark history to it,
It's still history. It's still
it's still
part of the
history.
city.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't
So
know
it
what they're
is
going to do
definitely,
with it. I mean, it's a
yeah,
huge building. I don't know what their plan is, but it's still
yeah.
there. Still there.
Likely gentrification, unfortunately. So,
Yeah,
uh,
that's what happens.
but I think that's all I have today.
Awesome.
I appreciate you coming onto the show and talking about yourself and your love of horror and your comedy special.
Well,
Um,
thank you.
I think,
Comics love talking about themselves.
all right, it's the whole job. Um,
I know.
but people should definitely go check out Samantha Hale Horror Nerd. It's on VOD everywhere right now, so definitely go check that out. It's a lot of fun, and it sounds like it's a success, and you get to keep doing it. I'll definitely check out your podcast myself
Thank you.
for more of
Yeah,
that, and
that's the plan. Keep doing it.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's great when you can find something like that and you get and people want to keep coming and seeing it and do it and joining you to do it and everything like that. I feel like definitely fills this kind of niche hole that
Yeah.
maybe we all didn't realize we wanted.
Yeah.
So I think that's really good. And especially because, Cassandra has retired Elvira. So, somebody's got to take on that new area. So
That
maybe it
next
could be you.
chapter of it, I will
Yeah.
never be as cool or as beautiful or smart or brilliant or perfect as she is. However, I'm gonna do my best.
Well, yeah, here's hoping you can do it for quite a while and be as successful as you can with it. So,
Thank
and again,
you.
I very much appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. This was a great conversation. Um,
Anytime.
all right. Um, and I hope we get to talk to you again soon about something else. So,
Yeah, for sure. And you can stay in touch and anyone can stay in touch if you just hop on Instagram. It's at
yeah.
the Samantha Hale and at Horror Nerd Comedy.
Yeah, I followed you last night from my regular
Perfect.
account and I'll be keeping up with you from now on. So,
Please do.
all right. Well, thanks again, and
Thank you.
we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
Thanks for listening. Creepy and Geeky is produced and hosted by Robert Clark. If you like what you've heard, please consider giving the show 5 stars and a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and share the podcast on social media to help spread the word. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app or at creepyandgeeky.com. You can follow the podcast by going to creepyandgeeky.com and clicking on any of the social links. If you'd like to follow me, you can find my links at geekthulu.com. You can support the podcast by ordering teas and more on Teepublic or by donating to the coffee page. All of the links are in the show notes. Finally, don't forget, stay creepy.